Good morning, everyone. So today's video is going to be a wear test for the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. I've been using this for a while now, and I kind of had promised I was going to do this video, and so here I am. This is like a cult favorite, and we are going to try it out. So I'm going to go ahead and apply. By the way, this comes in a frosted bottle, glass. You get 1 fluid ounce. I'm shade 4.5. I'm using a clean beauty blender, and I'm gonna go ahead and apply 1 pump of this, and I'm gonna start off with that because this has about a medium coverage and I don't want to put too much, you know. Just blending that out. I hope you guys had a lovely Thanksgiving. I did some spring cleaning. I got rid of some clothes that, well, we call it spring cleaning, right? It's more like a fall cleaning. I got rid of some clothes that just had holes and were really worn, and got rid of that. Just clothes that I have used to death and they just don't look good in any occasion. They're starting to give that homeless vibe, so I had to get rid of them. Okay, so this is 1 pump on the skin, and I'm gonna go ahead and put 2 pumps just because I think we'll be fine with 2 pumps, shall we? So also, this is a wear test, so I want to see how this is gonna hold up, how well it's gonna do once I start getting oily, because this has like a slight luminosity, so it's not a flat matte white flat finish, flat matte finish. It is not a flat matte finish, and so it's kind of supposed to give you a very subtle but nice glow. I'm bringing this down my neck just because I'm starting to transition into my winter shade, and this is just a smidge light on me. All right, so I think 2 pumps did a good job. You can still see my acne scars underneath, but that's okay. I like the way this looks. Next, I'm gonna go in with my Chanel corrector in Pesh, and I'm gonna apply this under my eyes just for that green vein. So in this video, you're gonna be able to see how this foundation works with other products and how it wears over time. I'm gonna be doing at least an 8-hour wear, which I think is like a typical day for most of you, but if I can actually extend it to a 12-hour day, I will. Either way, when I check in with you guys, I'll let you know how many hours I've had that foundation on. All right, now let's set my face. I'm gonna be using my Bare Minerals Mineral Veil, and in order to set it, I'm gonna be using my It Cosmetics powder brush. leave me a comment down below what you guys bought during Black Friday, these Black Friday specials. I actually picked up an iPad mini for my daughter. Just because sometimes when we're out and about and she gets fussy, I don't have a way of entertaining her. There's nothing that entertains her. I don't know if your kids are the same, but sometimes she gets into this like funk where it doesn't matter. Clean diaper, plethora of different toys, fully fed, and she just is not about it. And she loves this show from the Nick Jr. channel called Canticos, and it's like these 3 little pollitos that sing all of the nursery rhymes but in Spanish, because I'm really adamant about her learning Spanish first, because I really want her to be able to speak both languages fluently, like my mom did with my brother and I. And I have been so grateful about that always, just knowing how to speak more than one language. Okay, next I'm gonna go in with my Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow palette, and I'm gonna be using this Charlotte Ronson brush, which you can't find anymore because this is so old that this brush is over over 10 years old. I don't even know anymore if these brushes are synthetic or natural hair. Probably synthetic because I didn't pay much for it. But I have it because it's a nice little like dome fluffy shape. I mean, I should get rid of this brush. I really should. It's a little scratchy and it sheds like a monster. So I think after I'm done with this palette, I'm gonna get rid of this brush. I think this brush has served its purpose. It's been with me for over 10 years and I think it has done a good job. So just bronzing my face. So anyways, my husband and I have been using our phones whenever, back to what I was talking about, I've been using our phones whenever we have to play canticos. She really hates the car seat, so if ever we go anywhere and we're in the drive-through, she's not about that life. So we've been using our phones to try to entertain her during that process, and we just have come to the conclusion we just need to have an iPad, something small, something thin that doesn't weigh anything, doesn't take up too much space. I'm going to be using my Chanel blush in 320 Rouge Profonde, and this is a red blush that I hauled last year, and I obviously only use it in the fall season, but it does pack a punch. But I do love a little red cheek for the fall winter season. That's pretty. We're gonna blend it. I know it looks a little strong, but we'll blend it anyway. Oh, by the way, this is the original formula. I had hauled these blushes before I even found out that the blushes were gonna be reformulated. I didn't even know that. They didn't even announce it. They never announced it. They just reformulated the blushes, and I guess, you know, Chanel never announces when they're gonna do things like that. Just like when they decided that they were gonna reformulate their universal bronzer and thought that like nobody was gonna notice. So just applying some of the highlight from this palette onto my cheekbones. So we needed something lightweight, and we actually got a great deal from Best Buy on the iPad mini for her. I saved $100, so that's the most I've seen it discounted since it first launched. All right, next I'm going to go in with my Urban Decay primer potion. I'm almost done with this stuff. And believe it or not, guys, I didn't purchase much beauty. I have so much, and I really took a step back and looked at my collection before going butt wild. And the only thing I bought beauty related was the Dior lip set that came out exclusively for Black Friday, which was like a lip oil and a lipstick. And I bought the Dior lip oil in sorry, in berry. Got a frog in my throat. And I picked up the new, obviously all discounted because everything was like 15% off, which, you know, you never really get much more of a discount with luxury beauty brands. I also picked up the new Charlotte Tilbury brush set, and that came out for the holidays. That Nordstrom seems to be the only place that's carrying it other than the Charlotte Tilbury website, so Sephora never got it. I'm gonna be using my Urban Decay Naked palette. I'm gonna apply this shade right here all over my lid, and I'm just using the brush that this palette came with, which, by the way, may be an unpopular opinion, but the brushes that come in these Urban Decay palettes, I like them. Now, I don't know if they're, you know, stand the test of time, you know, they're gonna be, you know, amazing, but I've been using this palette for the past month and it's held up really well. So just applying that all over the lid up to the brow bone. Next, I'm gonna go into this color called Sauced, and I'm gonna use the other end of the brush, which is like a dome shaped, and I'm gonna use that as my transition shade. And I'm gonna go in with a light hand, because if there's one thing that Natasha Denona has spoiled us in, is the fact that you don't get fallout with her palettes. And that is an issue I have with Urban Decay palettes, is they do have a lot of fallout. And because this brush is stiff on this end, I think it doesn't contribute. It contributes to more fallout. So I've been doing like a hodgepodge of colors here with this palette. I'm gonna go in with He Devil, and I'm gonna use a MAC 286 brush. In this palette, the colors that I'm using are all matte, in case you guys were wondering. There are some satin finishes in here, but the colors that I'm using for the purpose of this video are not. Anywho, so I've really been enjoying this Naked palette. I think it's a staple. I think it's actually 50% off for this Black Friday weekend, and I've just been enjoying it. Next, I'm gonna go into Ashes, and I'm gonna use this same brush. I'm just wiping it off on a microfiber towel I have right here, and I'm just gonna use this shade to add a little bit of depth just on the outer corner here. And then I'm going to show you how I clean this up, because I know these colors are pretty strong and you're like, whoa girl, where are you going? Nowhere. I'm actually just going to my mom's house to wrap some Christmas presents, because she has all of our Christmas presents and all of my gift wrapping over there because she was helping me gift wrap the kids the presents for the kids, my nieces and my daughter, because we have a small house, and this year with all of the baby gear, we don't have enough space to have a Christmas tree this year. And this is not her first Christmas. She was born on December the 20th. So her first Christmas was technically last year, although we were still in the hospital during that time. So this would be like her first Christmas outside of the hospital. We don't have space for Christmas tree this year with all her baby stuff. So, you know, am I totally thrilled about it? No. I'm gonna use, by the way, this powder brush that I used for my mineral veil, and I just use it to sweep away any fallout. I'm gonna go back to using this Urban Decay brush that I used to apply that light shade chaser, and which is the first shade I used in the palette, which was this one right here. Now I'm gonna go into the very first shade. It's called Ounce, and this is the brow bone highlight in the palettes. So if there's one thing I love about Urban Decay palettes, is it's just a very comprehensive, cohesive palette. So I'm just using that to highlight the brow bone. I bring the rest of whatever's in the on the brush, and I do this arc, this inner arc of the eye, just to help eliminate any skipping, and to add a little bit of highlight into that crease part, that crease there, which I like when I'm doing a more fall inspired look. So I just like to put the rest of that highlight shade into the crease. I think it really makes whatever color I'm gonna lay down on the lid pop. And I just use this highlighting shade to diffuse the edges so that there are no harsh edges. And I do the same thing to the other eye. All right, again, just sweeping away any fallout, which is a lot with this palette. Okay, now I am just slightly tapping my brush on this microfiber towel, and now I'm going to, now that I've allowed my blush to settle in, I'm just blending it a little bit with whatever like setting powders left on this brush, very lightly, just diffusing it a little bit into the skin, into that bronzer, so that it looks a little softer and not so stark. Okay, now I'm looking at this eye, and I feel like it's still a little much, so I'm gonna go back into Ounce, and I'm just gonna work on this edge right here, because I feel like this edge stayed a little bit strong. Okay, much better. Now I'm gonna go in with my Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize. This one is in rose gold. Look at that, guys. I have literally hit the bottom of this pot. I am so excited. And when I'm done with this pot, I'm gonna start incorporating my, I'm sorry for that motorcycle that decided to so rudely pass by. I'm gonna start using the copper one that I have, which is called Star Gold. All right, so I got some from the pot, and I pat it on the back of my hand, just because that way it allows me, I'm gonna apply it with my ring finger. It allows me to have a little bit more control of how much I'm placing at a time, and I get a nice even coating on my finger. I like to work in small amounts with this cream shadow, and I'm just applying this to the inner lid and just patting it all the way into the middle of the lid. Next, let's do the other eye. So I also picked up, the other beauty item I picked up was the Jo Malone Pomegranate Noir. I picked that up in the small bottle. Oh. That's another thing I love about these eyes to mesmerize. If you accidentally get some on the bottom lid or somewhere you're not supposed to, it does easily wipe away while it's still wet. This formula does set down, but it gives you enough time to work with it. And so I've just applied that to the eyelid. And then I'm gonna go back with that brush I used to put the highlight shade in Ounce. And I'm going to just wipe and swipe away any little bit of cream shadow that I got in places I didn't want it to go, because it's hard to be precise with your finger. But I actually don't have, all my brushes are dirty. That's why I've been using my fingers using this. I need to wash my makeup brushes. I haven't gotten to it, but I will do that. Okay, now I'm going to apply some of my Chanel corrector in Rose, and we are gonna apply that to the inner corner of the eye, just making sure that I'm wiping away any fallout, because I don't want to mix that with the cream. And I'm just gonna apply one dot and one dot, and this adds some lightness to the eyes. Make sure that my fingers are clean, and just pat that in. I'm looking at my Ricky Loves Ricky mirror, because now I'm gonna go in with my middle finger, which is clean, just to diffuse that. Now the way that my eye shape is, now I'm gonna use my pinky and just finish blending that in. And you're like, oh, why don't you use a beauty blender? Oh, why don't you use a brush? There's not a beauty blender small enough to fit into the socket of my eye. I don't know if it's the particular shape of my eye, but it does add like a little bit of lightness to the eyes. And I'm not sure if it's like that I have a very deep inset, but when I use a brush, I always get streaks and it never fully blends. So that's why I use my fingers. I have to take off my cardigan because I'm starting to sweat. Okay, now I'm gonna apply some eyeliner, some mascara off camera. I'll be right back. All right, so off camera, I put on my Chanel eyeliner, and this one is their like liquid eyeliner that you guys know I hate, but I'm using because I'm not throwing my money away in the garbage. It's color 522. And I have my Tarte Lights Camera Lashes. And I decided to go with this one today because I did want more of a dramatic lash. I actually got this for free a couple years back from, because I'm part of the Ulta's reward program. And so I usually do not open my mascaras unless I'm ready to use them, so that oxygen, you know, doesn't dry them out or anything like that. So I open them when I'm ready to use them. And so that's what I use today. And then I use my Gimme Brow in shade number 4 on my eyebrows. And I used my Chanel 949 blank graphique eyeliner on my bottom waterline. And for lips, I applied the new holiday color. This is the Rouge Lac in number 88, Rose Mystère. And that's what I have on my lips. Let me swatch it for you guys on the back of my hand. This is one of the colors that came out for holiday this year. And so I have 2 layers of this on my lips. And this completes the look. As you can see, the Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize color has already set down to a satin finish. But I'm gonna mention this again because I know that there's a lot of new people that watch my videos. So unless you're a subscriber, I don't expect for you to keep up with like other things I've mentioned in other videos, which is why I repeat certain things sometimes. These eyeshadows from Charlotte Tilbury are amazing, but if you don't use an eyeshadow primer, they will crease. It's a fact. So once that dries down, it stays put. But yeah. All right. That completes this look. I will be back with a couple of check-ins throughout the day. Hey guys, so this is the 4-hour check-in, and as you can see, there is much more luminosity in the T-zone and on the chin, right here in my forehead area, with this foundation. I am getting a little bit of light that's left over. It will be dark soon, and so my 8-hour check-in will be with terrible bathroom lighting. So let's see how that goes. All right, BRB. All right, so here is the final check-in. I am at the 8-hour mark, and now you can really see my oils coming through in my T-zone and around my face. This is just terrible lighting, but you know how it goes. I've been using this for about 3 weeks now, and I'm 1/3 of the way down the bottle, so the foundation is about right here. I know that what I'm about to say is going to be a super unpopular opinion, because I know that this is a cult favorite, but I don't like it. I don't like the way this looks on my skin, and it has nothing to do with the shine. It actually has everything to do with the fact that it emphasizes my large pores on my cheek, inner cheek area. So I'm gonna get closer, and I don't know if the light is, I'm gonna get closer to the light. I'm not sure the light is picking that up, but I have enlarged pores in this area of my face, and it really emphasizes my large pores, which is the main reason why I won't be repurchasing this, and I didn't like this particular foundation. With my Chanel Le Tente, it doesn't do that. It doesn't emphasize my pores anywhere. So this has a great finish overall, and I'm not mad about it. It still looks like skin. It wore really well, but I can't handle that. And I don't have the best of cameras, but in person this looks even worse than it does on camera. I feel like it accentuates my large pores instead of kind of helping me blur, you know? And sure, I can powder, and I'm sure that would solve the problem, but with my Chanel Le Tente, I don't have to powder. It just, you know, wears perfectly, and it doesn't accentuate my pores. So I know that's an unpopular opinion, and I know I already hear the comments, but I just want you to know that just because this didn't work for me doesn't mean it's not gonna work for you. Just for me and my personal beauty and skincare preference and the look I'm going for, my complexion vibe, this is not for me. But I know that like 90% of people like this foundation. So take what I say and anything I say with a grain of salt, because beauty and skincare is subjective. All right, so this is my final check-in. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm at my mom's house and I just finished wrapping everybody's Christmas presents,
and all the birthday presents, because fall and winter is the busiest season in my family. We have the most birthdays during that season. So, all right, that pretty much completes this video. As you can see, it wore off on my nose, but that is okay because, oh, I got lipstick on my teeth. That's okay because actually it was my child. I was carrying her a lot and she kept swiping my face, but if that wouldn't have happened, it wouldn't have worn off on my nose. Okay, I'm gonna stop rambling. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time. Bye.